Hello, iHeart listener. We have a confession to make. Both iHeart and this commercial you're listening to right now would probably sound a heck of a lot better on the new Roku Pro Series TV. It's got side-firing speakers that fill your room with sound, Dolby Atmos audio that puts you right in the middle of the entertainment, and the ability to pair seamlessly with your home theater sound systems that already have surround sound and booming bass. If all that sounds too good to be true, it'll sound even better on the new Roku Pro Series. Your hearing isn't better, your TV is. Man.
Lavelle.
There we go, Paul!
Hardcore Lavelle. I always love that one.
Lavelle Neal III at Lavelle Neal via the X machine. Follow him as 9 to noon does if you are so kind or you are so inclined. He's a columnist for the Star Tribune, and his appearances 9 to noon are courtesy of Allery's. Allery's with free shuttles and free parking and free wild shuttles. Got some good barbecue going on there too, out St. Paul way. And the columnist has joined us right now. With the TV on in the 651 Carpets Plus studios, just saw crawl across the screen. Ben Johnson, coach of the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, has informed the Lions, I will not be returning next season. So a step has been taken. The question is, will he be the next coach of the Chicago Bears after our mutual friend and team president, Kevin Warren, opted to make sure every stone was around the world was not unturned? I mean, when you're bringing in Eddie George to interview for a head coaching spot, then that's Kevin Warren being like, I don't care where they come from or who they are. This is a massive, massive hire. We're going to interview everybody. So Ben Johnson has told the Lions, I ain't coming back next year. Mm-hmm. I wonder if the Bears are next. And good morning.
Good morning. Eddie George allowed the Bears to comply with the Rooney Rule a bit. So I think to that point they just talked.
Really?
Yeah. I was reading about that yesterday.
Okay.
So there's steam about Ben Johnson to Vegas right now. That's the steam that's going on as of last night.
Read that last week.
He's got a choice between the Bears, Vegas, and Jacksonville.
Wow.
But there's talk that he's going to head out west and join that other dumpster fire, not the Bears, but the Raiders.
Well, the Raiders traditionally have not really paid top dollar for certain situations. So, like, if you got that market, you got the Windy City. All right, Vegas, there's at Allegiant, they sell out and they do okay, but it's a different kind of market. Mm-hmm. I would just think the Bears would the McCaskies have never really been known for going over the top either with like paying coaches and stuff. Man, if Ben Johnson takes the head coaching job for the Las Vegas Raiders, Tom Brady, a minority owner for that team, I mean, he's gotten in somebody's ear saying blank check. And we got to break our ways here. If I'm going to be part owner of this team, we got to break our trends. Blank check that guy, and here's why.
I know. Yeah, Brady apparently owns 5% of the Raiders, which is a whole lot of money if you talk about a franchise that's worth a couple $1 billion. But apparently he's got some power in terms of football operations, and they're listening to him. And that is going to be very interesting. I don't know how he could be a television analyst and be a part owner of a team in which he is having an effect on personnel matters.
Yeah.
The way he calls games and things he can say on the air.
No, he's ruled out of the covenant.
Yeah.
Because the Vikings-Packers game was a Brady game.
Right.
So I learned kind of like what goes into that, him as a broadcaster, scooping those chips, and also being part owner of a team. I mean, he can't go to practice. He does not get access to the production meetings.
Oh, you can't have those meetings where you can get
none of it.
Intel?
Yeah, I mean, like there is not only team security, but like when he's at games, there have been NFL representatives there just to make sure you ain't walking to this part of the stadium, are you?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's so they've worked around it, and I don't know, man. I mean, it's not an easy job calling games, analyzing games, TV or radio. I just thought he'd be better. I don't know. He just doesn't pop for me. I don't know why.
But the thing is, still, if I own 5% of a team, I want to hang out in the owner's box. Why do I want to be in the press box?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You really want to sit by Mark Davis for 3.5 hours?
Do you want to sit by Lavelle Neal for 3 hours?
That's a good point.
I mean, they did give him a $370 million contract before he had ever really even done one bit on television. So
Yeah.
if there was any trepidation or kind of the idea, maybe I do, I want to enjoy my late 40s. And if I am going to have aspirations of ownership, I'm going to sit in a box. And Fox is like, well, we're actually going to give you $37.5 million a year.
Wow.
To stand in a booth next to Kevin Burkhardt and just tell us what you see on television. I mean, that'd be tough. That'd be tough to turn down. Now, they did give Gruden $100 million to join the Raiders, right? Like they kind of gave him. So not that Mark Davis, I mean, they're not, probably, the biggest spenders in certain areas, but they were willing to go all in on John Gruden, and ultimately, because of the email bits and other things, he was out of the mix.
Right.
Maybe they are actually willing to outpay other teams.
Yeah.
And at least the Bears.
Yeah, that would be Ben Johnson, I would assume. I mean, that Lavelle's right. There you can find stories online with credible sources. You got a lot of according to a source, but they come from really good reporters and really reliable scribes and stuff like that.
Yep.
So, but the A topic here is Ben Johnson this morning informed the Detroit Lions that I ain't going to be back. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, Aaron Glenn is interviewing for the head coaching job with the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know if he's going to get it, but nevertheless, just think about our division, man. I mean, 40 victories and 3 playoff teams. They go 0-3. It's like the NFC North nobodies. And teams that have 15, 14, and 11 wins have bigger questions to answer than generally teams that have 15, 14, and 11 wins.
And they have to worry about the departure of the coaching staff and replacing the coaching staff bit. Like I wrote in yesterday's paper about.
And they got to worry about year 2, Caleb. Hey.
The damage control, well, I won't call it damage control, but pivoting if B-Flow gets a job somewhere.
Right. Right.
And there were reports late last week about Josh McCown possibly being B-Flow's offensive coordinator.
Right.
And how does that affect the Vikings? B-Flow leaves. He may take other coaches with him. Players who are free agents may follow him. This could be very meaty of an offseason if B-Flow gets in the big chair.
Yes. And don't you, it's as a football fan, but somebody who genuinely and deeply cares about the Chicago Bears, your childhood favorite team, and Nordo and I with the Vikes. I don't know if this happens to you yearly, but like when your team ain't in it or gets bounced, don't you have like scheme envy? Don't you have like team envy? Or like, 4 deep at Cleveland Farrell. Right. I mean, look at Washington 4 deep in the middle with that NASCAR package with the tackles. So that'll all come back and we all will learn to appreciate what we have that is good. But I'm just seeing a lot of that now on social media and emails. It's like scheme envy and things. I mean, Washington has Jaden. So it starts there. What they're doing with Brian Robinson, Austin Eckler, and Jeremy McNichols is terrific.
It is.
Because of the overall threat that quarterback is, Yeah.
It looks great until you're Jamison Williams and you drop back to pass. And when he did, I was like,
I couldn't believe it.
The Lions are getting funky here. I was like, he didn't see that one clearly.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, man.
I couldn't believe he did that.
I know. You got to just throw the ball away or just take an L on that play, man.
Yeah.
Live to throw another day. But, it's brilliant when you can pop something like that in the postseason, like the Rams did against the Vikings or the Eagles, someone like that. So
Campbell can't breathe. I mean, it's like for Dan Campbell, you have all these injuries during the year. I've never seen anything like it in my National Football League time. Mm-hmm. The amount of players they lost, when they lost them, how good they were, and then it goes through Montgomery, and you're like, okay, it's done. Well, then they lose Aleem McNeil, an identifiable North Carolina State guy from a few years ago. And then like, okay, that's cool. Then they're in the Vikings game near the end of the game, and I saw the guy walking out to the Lions players parking lot when we were waiting for our buses outside of Ford Field. Kevin Zeitler, the right guard, he was a mess. He was a mess after the Vikings game.
Really?
Well, he didn't play. The right guard didn't play. They're going to put something called mahogany in there, and he had his problems against Deron Payne. So it's like Campbell stretched everything as far as he could and just couldn't get there. So now, instead of getting a couple of seconds to think about it, Now he has to deal with this. Won't go public, but it happens everywhere. His number one thing with which he has to deal is coaches from within the covenant trying to get Ben's job.
Yeah.
So it's not like it pops up out of nowhere. Hey, the quarterback's coach, the wide receivers coach, Hank Fraley, the O-line coach, the running backs coach. No, they're lined up outside his office right now. But that's a problem. That's the last thing you want to deal with after heartbreak of getting bounced from a season.
You're trying to decompress. You're trying to process. And all of a sudden, people drop you text messages and send you care packages. And, hey, don't forget about me,
Right.
So, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I'm sure KLC went through that, after the Vikings lost, next couple days.
I watched Bills Ravens with next door neighbor Cotton John last night.
Oh, Cotton John.
A bona fide Green Bay Packers fan.
Yeah.
We're chatting out a bunch of NFC North related things. I had forgotten. I don't know how I'd forgotten, simply because we get all wrapped up in like what's in front of us. That includes me. But your Packers, Cairo Santos, all right?
Yep.
They blocked that field goal at Soldier Field.
Yeah.
And then, by the way, they played the Vikings the next week, and Jerry Tillery blocked Cairo Santos' first field goal.
Yep.
Just in case if you forgot how the previous game ended.
How could I?
But Green Bay was that block field goal from not winning a game in the division.
And the serendipity.
Holy cow.
And in the serendipity bit, Carol Santos hit a walk-off field goal at Lambeau to hand the Packers the L in Week 18. So,
right.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? You think about how powerful the division was, and once the curtain closes, you kind of look at what you got here, and you see a Packers team that is flawed, a Vikings team that that kind of hit a pothole, and you have a Lions team that used spackle and tape and monster glue to kind of patch that defense together until they couldn't hold it anymore.
You wrote a column 2 weeks ago. That I'm having to reread and pretend to myself that it's true. I'm playing pretend. It was 2 weeks ago. You don't write the headlines, but it encapsulated the story quite well. It basically is relax, Vikings fans. All will be fine. Well, that was after the Lions game. Okay, so it's after the Lions game. Relax, Vikings fans. All will be fine. And I'm rereading it as if it's Hans Christian Wobble Andersen penning a bedtime story of fable.
From the lap of Uncle Lavelle.
From the lap of Uncle Wobble. It's not all fine. It's a 14-win team with big questions. The Lions, 15-win production, huge questions.
Yep.
Green Bay, this is trash talking aside. This is fact that the Packers have to be at least moderately concerned with their investment in their quarterback.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's 55. Are you kidding me? Holy cow. Back foot still? How? Why? Holy cow.
Those jump passes he wants to throw?
And then your guy never throws picks because he never takes chances.
Right. He doesn't. He's risk averse.
He's risk averse.
Yes, he is.
Well, right. And
I guess it's better to be that way than the other way, right? I don't know.
I mean, when it comes to scheme, team, and or player envy by all of us, miserable as we are right now from a sports standpoint, and we're watching everybody do what they do, Jaden Daniels, you had a crack at him. You had a crack at this quarterback you're going to potentially watch in the Super Bowl. And good morning.
You put Jaden Daniels in the Bears situation and put Caleb Williams in the Washington Commanders situation. How's it turn out? And don't forget the Bears. Caleb came into a challenging situation with an incompetent offensive coordinator and a below average offensive line.
I think neither makes the playoffs. If you flip that thing, I mean, maybe the Bears. Maybe, but their defense isn't as good as Washington's.
But Jaden Daniels, some of his throws are just so money.
Yep.
Only the wide receiver can catch the balls he throws.
What am I saying here?
Yeah.
I mean, you got Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, and that kid sounds like 15 wins.
Yeah, but
they get drafted the other way.
You got Shane Waldron crafting the plays, though.
Those moonshots.
He doesn't have a job right now.
That Jaden Daniels moonshot, is it Diami Brown? Is that? I mean, are you kidding me on that deep ball that he just placed right perfectly into the breadbasket.
Yes.
Yep. I think the Bears have probably, I'd say, 2 or 3 more wins if they have Jaden Daniels, based on him just immediately jumping out of the gates. That doesn't mean Caleb can't be better long term, but
let's not. Here's the thing, too. The narrative of Caleb Williams would be vastly different, and Matt Eberflus did not mismanage multiple games during the regular season. That Hail Mary game against Washington, Caleb Williams brought the Bears back twice in the fourth quarter. They got to the 3-yard line, and then they decided to hand the ball to the backup center,
Kramer Jr.,
who made a mistake and told the Bears he played fullback in high school for 1 year.
Right.
And then, let's put in a play for him.
Right.
And gets tackled by fellow Illinois alum Jerzon Newton and fumbles.
Yes.
Okay. Bears shake that off.
No, they didn't shake that off.
Let it out.
Now
Lavelle.
you got the Miami kid Tyreek. Oh, you're saying shake it off in the game?
In the game, she shook it off.
By all means, continue.
Brought the Bears back again. Scored. It was leading.
Tyreek.
All right. And then
Tyreek
Stevenson. Asking people where's the strip club in D.C. at?
Yeah. No. Wait. He was yelling at a member of the Commander's Cup. Some loudmouth on the site. No, he was arguing with some freaking rube from Oxon Hill, Maryland, who was waving to him like, go home, you're beat.
Right.
What are we doing?
The blocked field goal against the Packers. Mm-hmm. Caleb Williams drove him down the field to get him in field goal range.
Yeah.
He did that 3 or 4 times during their season.
Turkey Day clock management.
That ended up in disaster because of Matt Eberflus. and the narrative, the Caleb Williams narrative is totally different if you just manage games better.
Okay. Let's just
Lavelle.
Let's have the rubber meet the road here right now. Who would you rather have and why? Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels?
I'm fine with Caleb Williams.
What?
He just needs a better infrastructure.
Why are you smiling at me? Because it's radio and nobody can see what your face looks like. That really, if God gave you the true opportunity to I'm just going to make it happen and everybody's going to think that's how it's always been. You get that kid, they get your kid. You're telling me you would not make that flip 10 to 10 times right now?
All right, show me where your time machine is so we can get into it and fast forward to see how this turns out in 2 years. Okay?
Well, you can't have everything.
If we had a time machine on draft day, I'd probably take a Jaden Daniels. But it's so easy to say at this point.
Yeah. You know what?
And here's the thing. It's undeniable that Caleb has talent. Yeah. He's got better talent than Justin Fields.
I'm joking. And you could have thrown me in a deep
box
by simply turning it on me and saying, all right, cool. Who would you rather have and why? Dallas Turner or Jared Verse?
I always love that.
We're taking right around each other.
The two spots after Dallas Turner.
Stop rubbing it.
Here's what I'll say about this.
He got better as the season went along.
Well, wait till you get a load of him next year.
And he's 3 years younger than Verse. So let's let the kid grow up a bit. Lavelle,
and J.J. McCarthy turned 22 years of age today.
Yeah, happy birthday
to the future of the franchise. Face of the franchise with the hockey hair, though.
The 22-year-old has the face of a 14-year-old.
Right.
In and out of the draft.
He's about ready to make your team kids.
The conversation was that Caleb Williams, undisputed number 1 pick because he's NFL ready, because he's seen it all and he's ready to step in and lead a franchise.
Spits out plays more fluidly and clearly than Jaden. It takes him a little while with that draw to get there.
Well, and the conversation about Jaden is he might be the most talented player of any player in the freaking draft.
There's a chance.
But does he get it? And does he run too much? And is he of the right? Like that's all those talkers around Jaden this might be the most perfect ball of clay that a coach is going to get to mold, but man, is it going to be tough. Man, is it going to take a minute. And so that's where it's like, in the arbitrary way in which we could talk all day about, like, would you rather have this guy or that guy? I mean, Caleb, if he figures it out, he can be a force. Absolutely. But Jaden didn't take a minute. He freaking got off the bus and started whooping
the bus.
And so that is the revelation of it and just how beautiful his season's been is he did not take a season. He took literally 30 seconds and has become one of the electrifying young guys in this league. It's special.
Once again, infrastructure. Jaden Daniels here's Cliff Kingsbury. He's a former NFL head coach. He's offensive minded. He's a great offensive mind, and he's going to tap into your brain and get the most out of your talent. Hey, Caleb, this is Shane Waldron. He was a mediocre guy from the Seattle Seahawks.
Shane's probably a great dude, like Family Guy.
Jackson Smith and Jigba basically said publicly, I'm super excited to see him go.
Right. The people were happy he's gone. I wrote before the season began.
Yes.
I said I thought J.J. McCarthy was in a better situation than Caleb Williams was in Chicago because he's got a team with bookend tackles. He's got a great offensive mind in KOC, and he's got the best non-quarterback in the league in Justin Jefferson and quality tight end and Jordan Addison.
Yeah. What to get us?
Well, I'm just saying, Caleb was in a tougher situation because offensive line was already being criticized. He had Shane Waldron and a defensive-minded head coach. JJ was in a better situation than Caleb. And he didn't have to, JJ didn't have to, he wasn't forced. The keys of the car weren't handed to him right away. He was going to earn it. Caleb was given the keys to the car, trying to save a franchise who a distraught, beat up, devastated franchise and fan base that is used to quarterbacking horridness and turn the franchise around. So JJ better spot.
Yeah.
Jaden better spot.
Yeah.
Caleb worse spot.
That verbal column that 9 to Noon just gave you comes free of charge on Martin Luther King Day, courtesy of columnist Lavelle Neal III, writes for the Star Tribune at StarTribune.com. And there is something that absolutely is working on the last nerve of the columnist right now. It's not football related, and we will share what it is when we return to KFAN.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to have supervision, enhanced hearing, extraordinary reflexes, to be, dare we say, superhuman? Well, Roku's new Pro Series TV can't do any of that for you. But with a 4K screen, side-firing speakers, and a blazing fast refresh rate, it'll sure feel like it. Elevate your entertainment using all your favorite apps like iHeart and play all your music, radio, and podcasts with the new Roku Pro Series. Your senses aren't better. Your TV is.
Here we go!
Lavelle.
Alrighty. How do we start this? You have either written or tweeted a fair amount of late about Minnesota Twins ownership. And if you get into the reaction of the copyright noon to 3, the poll ad pocket protectors or those who look at it that way, there will people forget the people who come at you personally. Like you and other members of the media cover up just whatever that, whether it's true or not, that's not the point.
Right.
That you and others are trying to get to, that the Minnesota Twins and a sale and interest coming from all over the place. All right. So that thing slows a little bit, for your viewing pleasure, yours truly, over say the last 72 to 90 hours. Well, then all of a sudden, the LA Dodgers add reliever Tanner Scott, 4 years, $72 million. All right, I didn't know who Tanner Scott was.
I didn't either.
So I went up and looked his game logs up from last year. Do you know he faced Shohei Ohtani 4 times in the playoffs? Struck him out every time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like, damn, if you can't beat him, join him. So he's 4 and 72. I guess he's a badass. Is it Roki Sasaki?
Yeah.
Roki?
Yeah.
Yeah. Roki Loki Sasaki. All right. Well, he's Japanese immortality.
Yeah.
He's in the covenant.
Yep.
And it triggered you yesterday or the day before to get so mad at Major League Baseball and the Dodgers. Like, sign Mookie Betts' kid to a 30-year deal. Why don't you go get Alex Bregman? That's a $250 piece. You can afford it. You're playing fantasy baseball, and then you laid into the A topic of Major League Baseball and no salary cap, and then in inequity here. So, how do you handle all of this, man? Because I know you love the game.
Look, here's my thing: is that when you have it was last year, 2 years ago, the Mets' payroll is $200 million more than the Oakland Athletics. If you have a sports league in which someone is spending $200 million more than another team,
it's wrong.
You need to look at your financial structure.
Yeah.
And the baseball owners have to get together and realize it's for the greater good of the game.
Yep.
If you're not making about 10 teams feel like they're a farm team for the rest of the league,
Yeah.
They're developing players. Once they get their 6 years in and hit free agency, they're gone. And the Twins were almost in that group. They just stepped up and brought in Carlos Correa when no one expected to, and he's still here. But still, they have limits. We see what they're doing with their payroll the last 2 years. Fan base is upset because they didn't take advantage of the 2023 season, and they have a right to be upset. But baseball's got to get his financial house in order. I'm not screaming necessarily salary cap, Paul. Baseball owners only share 48% of their local television revenue. So you think about that. That means the Yankees and the Dodgers are getting $250, $300 million a year from TV deals. When it was reported a couple years ago that the Twins got like 80. Okay.
Yeah. And I bet you the Mariners get a lot too. It's not the biggest market, but they
crush because of Japanese interest and commercial opportunities.
Yeah.
So they're always in the preliminary bidding war for Japanese players because it just works out. So if you put all your local television revenue in one pot and split it equally 30 ways, that would keep the big spenders from going, I almost said a bad word, from going bananas.
Yeah.
And just outspending everybody. You got guys who like private equity guys owning teams now. Steve Cohen's got FU money.
Okay,
you have to protect owners from themselves.
Okay, but and I'm with you, and I understand what you're saying. But say I'm an account executive for Yes Network, all right, and I have the ability to sell 4 deals at $1.9 million to benefit my job, get my bonuses, and take care of my family, and take care of Yes Network, my employer, and subsequently help the team we carry, the atopic team we carry, the New York Yankees.
Right.
Well, then, I mean, why? So why should I cut $3.9 million in deals so somebody in the cornfields can, not have the ability to do that, but they're going to scoop the cash? I mean, I don't know. I don't have a problem doing that, but if somebody did, I understand.
Pete Rozelle got NFL owners to agree to socialism. Why not baseball? Basically, NFL's the greatest model for all this.
Yeah.
Everybody.
There was no salary cap in the NFL?
Yeah, there is.
No, there is. I'm saying, but what do you mean galvanize, or like, what are you talking about?
No, they all share the television money, revenue. It was
I see.
Stroke of genius by Pete Rozelle to get up.
But they're all sharing it now in MLB.
Right. It's not 100% sharing. It's only like 48%. That's what I'm saying.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So what's good is actually. Yeah,
but I mean, okay.
Rob Manfred's headed in this direction. The whole MLB streaming thing with television rights has gone haywire because of people are unplugging Netflix, Prime, and all this stuff. So MLB's coming up with a streaming strategy, but they can't implement it league-wide until a lot of these local TV deals expire, which is about the 2028 season. I know. So are the Twins still in the local TV meat grinder despite FanDuel? They are. The league is going to run their broadcast this year. It's going to be that for a couple of years. And that's the other issue because Major League Baseball wants to take all 30 teams. Here's our streaming package. Netflix. Okay, Amazon. Okay, whoever, Hulu. Yeah. Tubi. Tubi. With that Tubi. Make your best bid. Make your best offer. It's PA and Tubi. That's how you maximize that stuff. So, but they can't do it till after some of these local TV deals expire, and they can package them up. So, okay. And here's the other thing too. But before we get to 2028, we got 2026, which the CBA expires, and there's already rumblings that the owners are going to go to the Players Association and say, "Man, we got guys making $700 million. Okay, we got to stop this." I don't know if they're going to use the word salary cap because the Players Association is not going to like that, but there's going to be some sort of financial day of reckoning that they're going to tell the Players Association, you're going to have to deal with this too, and that could lead to a work stoppage. So a lot of people think there's going to be a work stoppage at the end of this next CBA. Just from a baseline, if I'm Magic Johnson and the rest of the people who own the Dodgers, why do I want that? Because I can get Tanner Scott, I can get Sasaki, Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, list goes on. I can do this and still show a dramatic profit and get rings. And I'm going to hold up a sheet of paper that says it's good. At the bottom line, it's going to say you have $1.2 billion of deferred money that you've got to deal with down the road here. Okay, this is stuff that gets baseball into trouble. Right. All this deferred money that teams agree to. Bobby Bonilla is a drop in the bucket compared to some of these other deals that these teams have been signing. And you need someone to play. So you guys are all in it together. We need to be in all this together for the greater good of the game.
I agree. Okay, now from a Twins ownership standpoint, what you wrote about that recently? What's on your mind?
I was just trying to explain to everybody what the process is like, because there was a belief out there that there could be a new owner by opening day, and it's not even close to
the Arizona bit, right?
Right. The Ishbia brothers have been the one that's been reported, but there's been multiple other groups that have shown interest. You know, I know of a group out of Colorado. I know people who are sniffing around in Texas. There's apparently a private equity guy out in California who's kind of monitoring the situation. You know. The Ishbias actually own a small stake of the White Sox. So when that was found out last week, they would have to sell that stake if they were going to go ahead and buy the Twins. Well, since then, people have been begging the Ishbias to buy out Jerry Reinsdorf. You know, well, we just had the worst baseball season ever. Please save us, Ishbias, please. So there's been interest in the squad.
Yeah.
They hope by opening day to have a winning bid selected. So in the coming weeks, there's going to be a request. All right, give us your best offer. Let's go. You know,
is there a team president?
Yeah, Dave St. Peter, but it's transitioning over to Derek Falvey.
That's what I'm saying. St. Peter's retiring.
Yes.
Okay.
It's going to be Falvey, and that handoff's going to take place sometime during spring training.
And Falvey still with no Levine.
Right.
Falvey still will be handpicking like president of baseball operations / GM.
Well, yeah. He has a fleet of he has GMs and assistant GMs. He just promoted 3 people to assistant GM. Sean Johnson, a longtime scout and director, Josh Kalk, who is a brilliant pitching mind, and a couple other people. So he's got like 3 or 4 assistant GMs now, in addition to the regular GM, Jeremy Zoll, who has been promoted to replace Thad Levine. So there's a lot of structural things going on with the Twins in addition to the sale.
So, like, you know, say I'm just absolutely smitten by the Minnesota Twins, and it's been my favorite team for multiple decades. I've had partial season ticket packages, even when they go to Target Field. You know, I got good seats, and it costs a fair amount of money, but we've saved money for it in retirement, stuff like that. And then you're like, okay, well, you know, it's you know, whether it's taxes last year, investments, no matter what has happened, you just got to look at your money a little more closely than you did the previous 10 years.
Yeah.
If I'm that person and I'm on the fence with, like, I want to buy this partial or this full season bit, yeah, I mean, that's got to be a difficult spot for the Twins with all of the noise with the ownership. It's just the noise is going to keep people away, I think, right?
No, it's a tough sell right now because they didn't raise the payroll last year. They're not going to raise the payroll this year. They might actually drop the payroll a few more $1 million before opening day.
Oh, geez.
And that's a tough sell for a fan base that, like I said, after the 2023 season, there was a lot of people excited about Twins baseball. They finally won a playoff series.
Yep. Royce Lewis was the bomb.
Exactly. You know, it seems like they've had a perennial run of injuries, you know, and now, you know, Royce Lewis out for a chunk of the year last year. Byron Buxton last several years. Correa with plantar fasciitis in both feet.
Right.
You know, so they've had to fight against that, but it's still a good roster. When everybody's on the field, they can win a division. You know, the pitching staff is finally developing young pitchers. So Derek Falvey's pitching pipeline's good. There's a lot to like about the players, the major league players and the players in the farm system, man. They've got one of the top 10 farm systems in baseball. But the fan standpoint, I think right now, Twins fans are curious to see what a new owner is going to be. And they view that as a reason to have hope for the future, thinking a new owner is going to come in and at least want to make a splash right away. I don't know if he wants to start, you know, turning to Steve Cohen and raise the payroll of $250 million. But the person, you would think that a new owner would come in and want to make some sort of impact. And that's what Twins fans are hoping for, probably crossing their fingers for it. So, but I don't think a new owner is going to be in place until, you know, late May, early June. And so any impact won't be felt to maybe the trade deadline or next offseason. So yeah, I mean, if you're trying to sell me on Twins baseball, it's kind of a tough sell unless you like just sitting in a modern ballpark and on a warm summer afternoon in Minneapolis.
Well, that works. Yeah. I mean, because I've been to Coors Field enough now. I've been 4 times.
Right.
You know, ever since child started going to school there. Well, that's that.
That's a great hang.
That's the bit there.
And that's a terrible. You want to talk about a family owns a team that's running it into the ground. Man,
bro, there's not a seat to be had June, July, or August at Coors Field, and they got like 13 wins and 40 losses. And I don't care who's in town. Yep. It's just a picturesque, wonderful, Rocky Mountain type scene that everybody buys into, even though they know the team's terrible.
And they got that right field upper deck bit, right? Where they let people in early and they can still go up there and party and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, that's been a big hit for them. So it's a great place to watch a game. I've covered a couple games there.
Good seeing you.
Good seeing you too.
Tell your brother Larry, your sister Leslie.
Yep.
Yours truly says hello. And I'll see you next week, all right?
All right, my friend.
Lavelle Neal III at Lavelle Neal via Twitter. Follow him as 9 to noon does. Our final segment is next.
What are you looking for in a new smart TV? 4K picture quality? High quality and immersive sound? A sleek design? All of those are givens, but only the new Roku Pro Series has all of those and the Roku streaming experience, an award-winning OS. Get fast, easy access to all your apps like iHeart, where you can stream all your favorite music, radio, and podcasts all day, and regular all-inclusive trips to Roku City. The new Roku Pro Series, a smart TV built by the streaming pros.
I can't wait until tomorrow.
I usually don't get into the SPO track.
The over the cap, spot rack, SPO track, whatever it's called.
Well, the unrestricted free agents. I usually don't do that until after the Super Bowl. Maybe a couple of weeks from now, but I don't know. I was just like looking at some names and everything, and wow, it's barren in the cornerback situation. Holy cow. Wow. I mean, Carlton Davis, I like Carlton Davis a lot if you play man-to-man defense. He's the wounded kitty. He got hurt with the kitties and it really hurt them. It's going to cost a lot, but like if you could get him and say Byron Murphy Jr., get him to come back. Yeah. I'm cool with that. DJ Reed's out there. I think he's going to cost more than Davis. But, there's an A topic, for those who have scheme envy, team envy, running back envy, stuff like that you got to get squared away with Chick Knob. You got to figure out what old Nick Chubb's up to. Because if you get Nick Chubb for the right dollar amount and it works, you got exactly what everybody is looking for. I ain't saying here, I'm saying whomever gets it.
Yeah, that's what that number's got to be real nice, though.
It's not.
With the injury situation.
Oh, yeah, there you go. It's not before the injury.
Right.
It's running back number, though. All right, we're back at it tomorrow. Might have Chris Finch on the radio show tomorrow, but much more coming your way when we rise and shine at 9. Thank you very much for listening to 9 to Noon today at FM 100.3 KFAN. Here comes Big Daddy Khan with that rap on the shop.
Just listen. The game is over.
Time for 2 more? Good stuff.
Oh, hey, Tanner. Wishing you all a wonderful Monday. I hope everything for you goes the right way. Wolves and Wild with the dual matinee. Meat Sauce getting thirds at Super Moon Buffet. Watching the playoffs, we're filled with envy. Those squads where we wish we could be. And we're stuck here questioning our team in QB. But just for a moment, fight for old DC. Because the Commanders smacked up Motown. Mark Andrews, his stock, way down. Saquon rocks, Sirianni's still a clown. And they're all trying to take Mahomes' heavy crown. But tomorrow, we're back for another show. And sadly, it will not be at TCO. And I hope the Wild haven't then lost 4 in a row. And I hope it isn't like freaking 20 below.
I'm a kid, so I call it KFAN.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.
Hello, iHeart listener. We have a confession to make. Both iHeart and this commercial you're listening to right now would probably sound a heck of a lot better on the new Roku Pro Series TV. It's got side-firing speakers that fill your room with sound, Dolby Atmos audio that puts you right in the middle of the entertainment, and the ability to pair seamlessly with your home theater sound systems that already have surround sound and booming bass. If all that sounds too good to be true, it'll sound even better on the new Roku Pro Series. Your hearing isn't better, your TV is.